Hello and welcome to the Dinosaw for week 33, another 7 curious interesting things I saw last week. So as ever, let's crack on. First one is Google Contrails, and this is a project to try and reduce the contrails. These are the condensation trails that come out of the back of aeroplanes, usually at about 5 miles high, about 38,000 feet, there you go. And apparently 35% of the environmental impact of air transport comes from contrails. This is blocking out the sun, trapping the greenhouse gases, that sort of thing. So what Google have done is they've categorized, as you're seeing in front of you here, all of the contrails and as opposed to cirrus clouds. And therefore what they can do is they can figure out of the commercial flights, if they went up or down slightly, they could probably go to a slightly different bit where the contrails would not happen, and therefore you can reduce the amount of greenhouse gases. So I thought that was a really smart use of technology and also machine learning to try and look at where contrails might happen. Really like that one. That's very good. The hype cycle for artificial intelligence is out, and didn't actually know this was a thing, but normally the technology hype cycle comes out about now, and usually you can see them for free, but now they're behind a paywall. However, it's all over Reddit, so I've just copied one from there. So apologies, Gartner. However, it's worth having a look at. I think it's about £2,000, you can unlock this yourself with all of the documentation that comes with it. Now, compared to last year, there are a few things that have shuffled across. Everything is dutifully going to the right. If you don't know what the hype cycle is, essentially an innovation thing happens on the left-hand side. People hear about it. Everybody hears all the hype, and it's inflated. And then people realize it doesn't quite do what you want it to do. That's the trough of disillusionment. And then the slope of enlightenment is where actually it is used for something, and then the plateau of productivity is when it becomes useful, and hopefully it beetles off to the right hand side. So there's a couple of things on here that are worth noting. Really, things like computer vision, data labeling, all shooting off to the right hand side. Generative AI and foundation models quite rightly are at the peak of inflated expectations at the moment, and sneaking on right at the bottom is autonomic systems, which I think is quite interesting. That's 5 to 10 years. Autonomic systems are systems that can essentially run themselves and generate themselves as well, so that's kind of interesting. However, if you're interested in that, go and have a look at the link, and ideally go and buy that and keep it secret with your friends. This is X, formerly known as Twitter. If you're an advertiser, then you might have been noticing some shenanigans going on, and also Twitter's or X's ad revenue has been down 59% in June. So they're trying to turn that around, and they're giving you as an advertiser more control over that. And this is what's called sensitivity settings. So how sensitive are you and your brand to having your adverts next to things that maybe seem to be maybe sensitive, should we say? That's hence the name. So as you can see, if you are conservative and you don't want it to be anywhere near things like profanity, obscenity, spam, drugs, that sort of stuff, that won't happen. However, if you prefer the relaxed one, which is coming soon, and also Twitter's preferred option, then things like obscenity, drugs, profanity and gore may well be next to your adverts. And obviously you can choose the middle option as well. So that's nice. You now have control over that, but also, I think that's really bizarre that they will acknowledge that that's what it's going next to. But also clearly Twitter, aka X, is very happy to say that this is where people can express whatever they want, but within limits. There you go. This is HeyGen. Now, HeyGen have been around for, well, a while, I guess, in terms of AI companies, but they create avatars and do automatic lip syncing and dubbing on videos. What you're seeing here is their latest demo, which is their ultra realistic avatar. And this is the founder. As you can see, this is generated, so you can shoot it from any angle essentially, and you can see on the right hand side has a microphone clip, and you don't see the hands on the one on the right, but you do on the left, and that's all generated. So you can sign up to this. Now you scan your avatar, you create your avatar, and it can be doing this for you. So who knows, in a couple of weeks I might try this for a Dinosaw, see if I can get away with it. You can sign up to get early access to it. Just go to the website, put your name in and a few things, and they will actually send you a really cool video of the founder actually talking to you and saying thank you very much. So definitely go and do that, because it's good to actually see a demo of it working. But this is pretty impressive, you've got to admit. This is Varjo and NVIDIA Omniverse. Now the NVIDIA Omniverse is a sort of digital twin type thing where you can make ultra realistic models or ultra realistic realistic situations, cities, that sort of thing, where you can go and try things out. Now there's a huge amount of processing power goes on in that, and one of the things that is being maybe the holy grail for VR and AR and XR are things like technologies like ray tracing. Now ray tracing will give you ultra realistic textures and reflections. So what you're seeing here is the Varjo, I think it's the version 3 of their headset, which is ultra high definition in conjunction with the Omniverse, let's say, rendering techniques, which give you, the whole point of this one is it gives you ray tracing in real time in VR or AR, as you're seeing here. So that's amazing. So you can actually see this demo. It looks really stunning. If you can start augmenting objects like this into the real world that actually start playing with the light around them and bouncing that around inside the models, that's going to make everything super believable. The only thing that is just really, as I say, I call that as pretty nasty, is the way they're doing occlusion of hands. They just don't seem to have got that. Here you go. It's just coming up now, which is perfect. Watch this. Should have done that a little bit better. Looks like it's a 1980s GIF. But there you go. This is Prompt Engineer. You've probably seen something very similar to this before. However, there's a really good video which I suggest you go and watch. It's in the link below, just sort of showing you it working, and also with a few comments to it as well. So this is essentially, it's on GitHub, so it's open sourced. But what it'll do is you type in what you want. It'll ask you a few clarifying questions, and then after that it will then say, right, okay, here we go. It'll do all the documentation, do the tech specs. It will actually create the actual code as well, and the runnable code, literally copy paste, and it will run it. Well, most of the time. However, it's just really interesting, the video. There's a discussion about where does this leave junior coders or people just coming into the industry. Definitely worth watching. However, the actual the GitHub is available if you want to go and download it and play with it yourself. If you do have a license for GPT-4, it will work with that. If not, GPT 3.5 will work also. So definitely worth having a play if you know how to do that thing. And finally, this is just a really lovely experiential thing. This is actually in Bangkok. This is in the True Digital Park, which is sort of where lots of sort of AI and technology startups happen. They also have these experiences there as well. So these fish, you could probably buy these from Alibaba or whatever. They've been around for a while. However, each one of these fish actually has a little bit of a gadget on them that will allow them to flip their tails and therefore give propulsion, but also can move up and down by moving a few sort of weights here and there. So, but you can actually, as a punter, you can go along, should you be in Bangkok, go and sit in the middle of this shoal of robot fish, which I think is absolutely beautiful. So there. Now these sorts of fish and these experiences, if you really like this, then Google Festo, who do these sorts of things for a living. That is amazing. Love that. Well done. If that was interesting, great. Give us a like, give us a share, share it with somebody lovely, and I will see you next week.